What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Rob's Gaming Table. Today on the table we have another Keyforge Age of Ascension sealed tournament video brought to you from Black Knight Games. On the left we have Matt, on the right we have Robert. We've seen Robert in videos before in this series. If you haven't seen them, go to the playlist at Rob's Gaming Table on YouTube to check out his run so far through the tournament. We're at the final table here, best 2 of 3. This is the first game. These are the top players out of, I believe, 18 players that were at the tournament. So these are our best players, best decks, I guess. And on the right, we have an Amber Shard Imp, or Blood Shard Imp, sorry, who, when creatures reap, they get sacrificed, but he is gone now because of a Beam Buckler across the other side of the board, who gets to come in off of a Helper Bot, allowing Matt to play one non-logos card this turn. And now he has Titan Librarian in the middle, which he should have just archived a card at the end of his turn, because you have to do it, I believe. And he just did not. But he has Mother Gun out there, also as the artifact under the glare there on the left. On the right, we have the Wall of Sanctum that we've seen in previous matches from Robert, with the Baron, the Armorsmith, Barrister Joya, and a Gatekeeper. So he can discard cards with the Baron to capture, discard Sanctum cards to capture Amber onto him. The Armorsmiths giving each other creature +1 armor. Barrister Joya saying you can't reap to his opponent. And the Gatekeeper, we know that guy from the first set. When he comes in, he captures all but 5 of his opponent's Amber. But I don't think either player are at any Amber yet. So we have Matt going here on the left. He's using Mother Gun. 3 cards. He destroys the Armorsmith, gets him out of play. So now that bonus armor is gone. So I've warned you to go back and watch Robert's videos. You know it's good. But here's some spoilers. His deck basically rocks face because it lays out a Sanctum Wall with some disc creatures, steals his opponent's stuff with Collar Subordination. You can check out both these players' deck lists actually in the description of this video below, where you can check out the decks and see what they have in them. But yeah, he gets a big wall built out, does some capture, and basically just reaps and wins the game because you can't reap. And he has Shockworms and Barrister Joya, and we saw the Blood Shard Imps. Just a lot of reap hate, frustrating the opponent. And when you get those creatures out and you give them +2 power from Lion Botrum or extra armor from Armorsmiths, and then you steal your opponent's Armorsmiths using Collar Subordination, it just makes this like indestructible wall. But we have Matt here who's playing Unlocked Gateway, so the first opponent I believe that's had a nice board wipe that we've known of. So we'll see if that comes into play at all in these matches. This is best of 2 of 3, so there are more videos coming up. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for those. So he realized he couldn't reap there with the Beam Buckler, so he decides to just fight Barrister Joya, throw 3 damage on her. And then he puts a Proliferator in on the flank. The Proliferator, let me read this guy here. 3 damage, Martian Soldier has reap if he's on the flank. Archive a Mars card from your discard pile. But instead he uses Mars first, gains an Amber, readies him up, just runs him into Barrister Joya, so they kill each other. And we're down to 2 creatures each on both sides of the board, but now Matt's allowed to reap. Barrister Joya's in the discard pile, but we've seen in previous videos, there are 2 Exhumes in Robert's deck on the right, so he's able to get her back into play, back in the battle line, and continue to drive his opponent nuts. So it sounds like Robert on the right's going Mars here. And he throws down a Mind Warper and a Mind Worm. And plays Mines first to ready up Mind Warper, and I assume he's going to use his action here. He does. Puts the Amber on the Titan Librarian. And ends his turn there. So we know the Mind Worm at the left flank of Robert on the right. He is has a before fight effect. He's elusive. And the before fight effect of the creature he's targeting basically deals that amount of damage to each of that creature's neighbors. And Matt on the left's choosing Logos. And he throws down under the glare there. It is a Seismo Entangler, I believe. Has the action, choose a house. During your opponent's next turn, creatures of the chosen house cannot be used to reap. And then he uses the Helper Bot to fight into the elusive on the Mindworm. And then the Titan Librarian to finish him off. So the Titan Librarian should take a damage there. He doesn't have armor. I think that's what they're working out right now, so he's going to do that. And, yep, there it is. There's that damage. And we have another Helper Bot allowing him to play a non-logos card this turn. Love those Helper Bots. And he throws down a Lash of Broken Dreams. So that should help slow down Robert from forging keys in the future. And see, now he just used a Titan Librarian incorrectly, and I did this too in my first couple of games during this pre-release, but we figured it out now. The Titan Librarian actually happens at the end of the round, so it's after you've drawn up. If he's not on the flank, you then archive a card. So you actually start the next turn off with only, one less card or 5 cards in hand, and then you would do the same thing the next turn. So it's actually after draw, but Matt did it incorrectly there, and I think he does it again this game because we all thought it kind of worked that way. So he is archiving before he draws up, so making it a little more powerful than it should be there. So we're all gonna learn from these mistakes here. So there's the Exhume play, bringing in Barrister Joya, which he's done in previous games. We knew she would come back. It's his favorite target, it seems. The opponent always seems to destroy her early. So he's thrown down a Schuler, no stealing off Schuler. Silver Key Imp is elusive, and basically both players, while he's in play, cannot forge their second key. And throws another Blood Shard Imp in there, so after reaping, either player will have to sacrifice a creature, which works great with the Dust Imp, which he just played to the right of the Blood Shard Imp. And now he's got a load of Dis on the board, 4 creatures. And that's going to be it for his turn. 1 Amber on the right, no Amber on the left. And we got Redacted thrown down there as an artifact on Matt's side. It's the Logos artifact. It's like their key cheat. After he names Logos on a turn, he can put an Amber from the common pool onto Redacted. And then if there's ever 4 Amber or more on Redacted, you sacrifice Redacted and forge a key at no cost. But we know Robert on the right does have Destroy Them All at a Mars, which allows you to destroy an artifact, a creature, and an upgrade. So that'll probably be something he's going to be looking to do. I had that done to me a couple times during this tournament with my Redacted deck. And then he used the Seismo Entangler. And I believe he chose Dis. So on the next turn, if Robert were to name Dis, he would not be able to reap with Dis creatures. Well, I guess even if he didn't name Dis and he had some way of using them, he could reap with Dis creatures. So we got Titan Librarian fighting into the Dust Imp, taking some damage, and that will gain Robert some Amber. So for some reason, Matt's trying to make Robert earn more Amber. And we heard him ask that he was only at 1 Amber. It sounded like he kind of wanted to have more. And he plays a Helper Bot and then throws in a Think Drone, which he's allowed to play in out of Logos. Non-Logos cards, what I'm trying to say. And he did the Titan Librarian again there, so it's now on the flank, archived a card, and then draw. But like we said, that's not the right order, so make note, make sure people are playing it correctly as you guys are playing at your tournaments. All right, on the other side we got Sanctum, Radiant Truth. We know this card. He gains an Amber, then he gets to stun all his opponent's non-flank creatures, which is basically the 2 Helper Bots there and the Titan Librarian. And he's going to do Martyr's End. So he basically starts destroying friendly creatures. You get an Amber for playing it, and then he'll get an Amber for each friendly creature he destroys. So he destroys the Silver Key Imp, and looks like he destroyed, I think it was a Blood Shard Imp on the other side. So he's going to do that. So he'll get an Amber off the action, and then 2 Amber for killing each of those creatures. So that's a great little combo card with the Dust Imps, but Matt destroyed him earlier, so I'm sure he would have been a target otherwise. It's a nice little synergy built into his deck there. And now he's got to choose what he wants to do with the Sanctum creatures on the board here. And he can reap. It sounds like he's debating some fighting. Just checking out some power across the board, seeing what he'll get hit back with. He's got some armor on these guys. So Gatekeeper's going to take care of the Titan Librarian. And that gets some Amber back. That was captured on Titan Librarian. Or I guess it was some Amber from that Mind Warper ability, so it's kind of like stolen Amber. And then the Baron takes out the Think Drone. And Barrister Joy is just going to reap. So Robert's now gone up to definitely check there. Matt's asking him his Amber total. And he's got 9 Amber, so he's definitely in check. Maybe Matt's sitting on a Cutthroat Research looking to steal some since he's got 8 or more. Oh, no. Oh, no, I know what's coming here. I've had this hit me before. Binate Rupture. It's alpha. Each player gains, basically doubles their Amber, and Matt was at 0. But Matt does gain an Amber from playing Interdimensional Graph there. So now you see what he's done. He's doubled his opponent's amber, putting him up to 18. And now when his opponent forges a key on his next turn, Matt will actually capture all the remaining amber. And then he played lab work there and archived another card. This is a sneaky, dirty play, kids. Watch out for this. It comes from Logos. And watch out, they play Binate Rupture and Interdimensional Graft. You're playing Archon. Look for that little combo on their deck list before the match while you're looking at their deck list in your 2-minute window there. Look for that combo. And if they have it, play accordingly. And now you see it happening here. So you use the Seismic Entangler there. Or Seismo Entangler. And he said Sanctum. So on the next turn, Robert can't use Sanctum creatures to reap, sorry. And now they're dealing with the interdimensional graft here. So Robert forges his first key, but forgets to flip the key. And then he gives, I believe, 12 amber to Matt. And he already has 2. So I think he's sitting at 14 right now in that pile there. And I see the synergy also having the Lash of Broken Dreams in Matt's deck. He's able to, stop the opponent from forging a key, make them get that extra amber, get up to numbers like 9 or 10 amber, and then hit them with that Binate Rupture and then interdimensional graft them. So, and with all the archiving in his deck, he's able to set up that combo probably more often than not by archiving cards off cards like the Titan Librarian. And the lab work we saw him play there. So over to Robert. Did that Keyforge. And he's named Mars. Still forgot to flip his key there. Hopefully he catches that. I mean, both players should catch that. So we got the Beam Buckler coming down there, destroying one of the helper bots. Mind Warper, putting an amber onto a helper bot. And we have the Orbital Bombardment coming down and clearing the rest of the board. And he'll get the amber that was captured there using the Mind Warper's effect. And an amber off of Orbital Bombardment. And he throws down a Custom Virus and a Combat Pheromones, each gaining him an amber. And there's that key flip. He remembered. Okay. So definitely a different flow game here compared to the previous games. They're actually having a closer game, it looks like. I don't know if Matt's blown ahead too far here. We'll see if there's another gatekeeper or anything that's going to come down and slow Matt down. Or some capture, I guess, in general that could grab some amber off Matt. But it's his turn now. He's forging his first key. She flips there at the top of the screen, the blue key. And he's checking his archive here. There's 3 or 4 cards in it. 3 cards it looks like. And he's still in check for another key. He's got 1 amber on Redacted. So it'll be at least 3 more Logos turns before he can pop that off. If it stays in play. Remember, there's a Destroy Them All in that deck somewhere. Maybe Matt will get lucky and not have to deal with that. Or maybe Robert will choose a different artifact to blow up with that. I doubt it, but I mean, Redacted should be what you hit there. But you can see how that Seismo Entangler artifact that Matt has down there in the glare is another Reap Hate card, which has been slowing Robert down. And we haven't seen him just reap like crazy some turns here like in the previous games. So he's doing a Mother Gun here to get rid of Mind Warper off the board. He's had enough of that ability. So he's obviously going Mars. And plays down a Shockworm, Zizix Shockworm or whatever it is. Is that what his name is? Yeah, Zizix Shockworm, I think is how it's said. Anyways, when the opponent reaps, they're stunned. When their creatures reap, they're stunned. Then he plays Martian's Hounds here to give some extra +1 power counters. I think 4 of them, due to 2 damaged creatures being across the board. So the Shockworm's now a 7, I believe. With 1 armor? Yes, 7 with 1 armor right now. So each player's got 1 Keyforged. Robert on the right only has 2 extra amber. Matt is in check. Looks like 7 at least there. And we got Disname, Caller Subordination, stealing the Shockworm. Oh, man. So big bad Shockworm now on Robert's side of the board on the right. And he's Mars, so I mean Robert can use him. And he just plays a Banish there, just to gain the Ember. And then a Schuler for a Reap. And you can always use the guys you steal with Color Subordination. What I mean is, if he was not one of the 3 factions in Robert's deck, and you Color Subordination somebody, you barely ever name that house because like it's one creature, and usually got other things you want to do or play out of your deck that, you know, is more productive than just using that single creature. So Combat Pheromones, actually, here he is going to use this Mars creature right now. Use the Beam Buckler and the Shockworm. He's going to do a couple Reaps there, so he gets himself in check, just like that. So there's Matt forging his 2nd key, and has 2 Amber remaining. But if he doesn't deal with Robert's Amber, he's sitting at 6 right now. He will catch up, and they'll both have 2 keys forged. See if Matt can get him off of a key or race himself to put himself in check. And you got to remember he has that Baron on the board there on the right, where you can chuck a Sanctum card and capture Amber for every, or actually chuck multiple Sanctum cards. For every one he does throw to the discard pile, he will capture an Amber. So that could cause Matt some problems. There is 2 Amber captured right now, so if Matt has a way to deal with that, he could get a couple Amber just there alone. But with no creatures on the board right now, that's going to be tough. Unless he has some effects like Banish or Unlock Gateway. Let's see what else he's got in his deck here. Hysteria. Hysteria would help, putting all the creatures back into their owner's hands. So he's going Logos, plays Igor, looks at the top 3 cards, chooses one, puts the other 2 in the discard pile. And one of them's a fixed finger we can see there, the one that gives the Martians +1 armor. And he's using the Seismo Entangler there to prevent him from reaping with Sanctum on his next turn. And that's going to be it for Matt. Didn't get any Amber on that play, but since he did name Logos, he threw an Amber there on Redacted, so he's halfway to key cheating with that card. But we do see Robert staring and reading right now and destroy them all. He is he's got a whole pile of Mars cards in hand there. Got some Mars cards on the board. I think I see what's going to happen here. Maybe he'll wait a turn, you know? Maybe he'll wait. Wait till there's 3 on it, but you gotta be careful. You never know when you're gonna lose that card out of hand. But he's got Color Subordination in play though, so he'll have to destroy that, and the Shockworm would go back to his opponent. So I guess he could use that to destroy the Shockworm also. So he does a couple Reaps to. Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, forge a key at the start of the turn. I missed that there too. So yeah, now they're at 2 keys apiece. So he'll Reap with each of the Mars creatures, so he's obviously going Mars. And here's the Destroy Them All I've been talking about. So, yep, he goes for Redacted, of course. And, yeah, he kills the Shockworm, makes sense, and kills the Color Subordination instead of Igor. Igor, who cares about that guy? You just don't want the Shockworm going back and stunning your creatures when you Reap, that's for sure.
So if there's a creature, if I place a creature there, I'll get to draw a card. But I'm reaping, so these are both done. But I'm reaping, so Scuddigan, who I get to draw 3 cards.
Looks like he has a Shockworm of his own in hand there he wants to put down and play. He's going to do it on the right flank. And he's going to put a second Custom Virus into play, getting another Amber, putting himself at 3. And it looks like that's it. So over to Matt here. It's got 2 Amber, both at 2 keys. Which one's going to push himself in check first? So we have a Dis turn here. It plays Pain Reaction just for the Amber. It's play, deal 2 damage to an enemy creature. If this damage destroys that creature, deal 2 damage to each of that creature's neighbors. And then Poltergeist is going to use the Custom Virus, but he just gains an Amber from playing Poltergeist. But at least he gets it, destroys it. He isn't going to use it here for, looks like he has some Disc creatures in hand. Yeah, looks like he's going to purge Yerk to destroy Schuler. And then plays Amber Shard, Imp, and a Gub, but then plays Unlock Gateway. So he did a Lash of Broken Dreams right before that to raise his opponent's key cost by 3. And Unlock Gateway is going to blow up all the creatures in play. It's an Omega. And that'll end Matt's turn. Gets the amber back that was captured on those Sanctum creatures, putting him in check for 6.
Redacted. I was like, you might have something to blow that up. So I probably should.
Yeah, Matt's saying he's happy he didn't keep naming the logos there, trying to get with that that reactive key or redacted to forge a key. So instead, he went a different path with the dis. And Robert realizes he's in check. He's got nothing to get any amber away, so Matt does come back there and win the game. That was a good one. Gave Robert the challenge to actually beat him. So we got another match coming up. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. And if you want to support the channel, you can click the link in the description below and donate over at patreon.com. And like I said, the deck lists are in the description below. If you guys notice any rules, mistakes, or anything, leave them in the comments below. Helps other people watching these videos in the future. And please use timestamps. All right, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.